I feel that many of you have been curious about my travels. I recently went on a cruise in January and was asked to show pictures from that cruise. And I thought, why don't I use this question and answer time to introduce all the places I've been. I've spoken in this group about several of them, but introduce the places I've been, show some pictures, and then open up the floor to questions. My sister Kelly had an idea in her head that she wanted to take each of our nieces and nephews, there's 7 of them, to a different country. And we started off, that first country we went to was with our nephew Jack, and we went to Iceland. And that was a memorable trip. I was never very curious about Iceland until I got there. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. Then we left Jack to go home to San Diego. Kelly and I went on to Ireland by ourselves. And I'd like to go back to Ireland again. I'd like a do-over if that's possible. A year later, my sisters and I all went to Portugal with another group of women, 2 other women. We called it the Portugals trip. And we saw amazing things in Portugal. And then just this past June, we went to Greece with our niece, Amanda. And we spent an amazing time in Greece. And just a day or 2 in Amsterdam. And you've seen me wear that sweatshirt maybe 1 too many times. I didn't wear it today. Amsterdam is a beautiful, beautiful city. Then without my sisters, I went on a cruise this year with some of my former in-laws, 2 sisters-in-law and a brother-in-law. And we went to the Dominican, the Virgin Islands, US and British, as well as the Bahamas. So now I'd like to open the floor up for any questions that you may have about traveling. And we have about 6 or 7 minutes for questions. Carl.
Did you like the artwork?
For my Zoom friends, Carl is asking whether I liked the artwork on the cruise ship. I absolutely did. Most of the Norwegian cruise lines are painted absolutely beautiful outside the ship, but inside the ship, they also had an art gallery. The one picture I was interested in buying was $18,000. So I didn't bring it home, but the artwork was beautiful, both inside and outside the ship.
So I have a question. As a broad traveling abroad, do you have any suggestions for, staying safe or, just any safety concerns with traveling as a woman, or a group of women traveling?
That's a great question, Ruth. Thank you. I think others are also curious about women traveling abroad. Broads traveling abroad. We should maybe make that into a book. Every place we've gone has been very safe. That's part of the considerations as to where we decide to go. There was never a time where we felt in danger or insecure. And I think that was simply because we planned for it. We planned to make sure that every place we went didn't have crime, was well lit. We never went anywhere alone. We always traveled together, except for maybe to the bathroom. But it's a good question. Thank you. Nice play on words. Dina Lynn.
Well, hi, Kristi.
Hi.
You mentioned every place was fabulous or wonderful or amazing. And Ireland is the only one you said you wanted to go back to. Why is that?
That's true. I would like a do-over in Ireland because Kelly and I only spent 1 night in an Irish pub. And that truly was the most fun night that we had. And I would like to go back and just live in the pubs. I want to do more pubs and go back to Ireland. And we may have the opportunity to go to Scotland as well. Any questions in Zoom? Molly or Amen?
I have a question about Iceland.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, your thoughts about Iceland, and would you like to go back when the volcano is really, really active and get close?
Yes. Iceland for me was the most interesting place that we traveled because you felt like you were on another planet. That the landscape truly is volcanic and you don't even realize you're still on Earth. The only reason, actually, once we were in Iceland in September of 2023, a month later, the volcano did erupt. One of the volcanoes, there's so many, 3,000, I think, actually erupted. The only reason I don't want to go back is that there's so many other places to visit. I'd like to go see those other places. But otherwise, I think of all the places I've been, Iceland is the one I would recommend that others go see because it is so unique and different. Absolutely. Eric's coming up to the front.
I will come up to ask a question.
Our Zoom master.
Yes,
Thank you.
I talked with somebody recently who's been to Italy 3 times, and she said she loved it every time. She went to Venice, but she said she would never go back to Venice. She's glad she did it. Do you feel like any of these trips, one of the places that you went, you're glad you did it, but you would never really do it again?
Absolutely. I actually would say that almost about every one of the places, only because there are so many other places to visit. Portugal is the one place where I'm glad I did it. We went to Lisbon and Porto, but I wouldn't go back again. And I think people do go to Portugal to do hikes and things like that. We were tourists. I wasn't that impressed every place we went because the 2 towns we went to were so big and busy. I just felt like I could have been in New York or Chicago or some big city place. It just felt too much. So Portugal is the place that I wouldn't want to do again. Greece is another place that was absolutely breathtaking, but the way we did it was so complicated that we scheduled flights to different islands and we were constantly on the move. If I did any of that again, and I think if I ever were to do Italy, I would do it from a cruise where you get to be driven in a boat, get off, go see what you need to see, get back on the boat and go to the next place. Anything that involved air travel within the country, I do not recommend. You've all been amazingly engaged and thank you. Oh, Dr. Winkles.
Traveling with your former in-laws. I mean, what's that
Yeah,
like?
for my Zoom friends, Dr. Winkles, Mike wants to know, how did it go traveling with my former in-laws? I have my ex-husband there's 6 kids in the family, 5 boys and 1 girl, and his sister doesn't have sisters, and she is an amazing individual. I feel like she is one of my sisters. So traveling with Lynn was amazing. She's easy to get along with. Absolutely wonderful travel companion. So she and I shared a cabin. And Molly's hand is up in Zoom. Thank you. Molly?
Yay. Yeah. So I've had the opportunity to travel a lot, but that was through like programs and fundraising, and it's so expensive to travel. And was there any tricks or any programs you used or any tips on how to make it more affordable for people to go on trips like this, which I've not been on? So.
Yeah, that's a great question. We have the advantage, especially Greece was the most expensive trip we took, but we have a mom who now has come into some money and was very generous, and she essentially paid for our flights and most of our travel. So if you don't have a really rich mom, then finding flights on Expedia, usually on Tuesdays, the flights are the least expensive. And we also, I probably used 12 different travel apps, hotels.com and booking.com, all Viator, Get Your Guide. I used just all different travel apps to find the least expensive excursions, transfers, hotels, things like that. So I did it on the cheap. I also wouldn't want to discount using a travel agent, because sometimes it's not going to be any more expensive using a travel agent, and you don't have the hassle of having to keep track of your trip as you're living it. Thank you for your engagement. You're all adorable. If you have any other questions, you know how to find me.